We talk with Summit's Working Homeless, the local full-time employees who live in cars and RVs. Phil Lindeman, Krystal, 93 News. First, powder hounds would be howling this month if ski resorts were open, with just 14 inches of snow at Breckenridge, tied with Copper for the most in Summit. That's less than 1/8 of last month's total, when Breck set a February record with 120 inches, and short of last year's historic March by 103 inches. And yet cool, cloudy days are protecting local snowpack. The Colorado River Basin is 114% of average today. Loveland ski area today closed uphill access to all 1,800 acres of inbounds terrain, the final I-70 resort to ban uphill travel. This comes after hundreds, if not thousands, of skiers and riders descended on US 6 and Loveland Pass last weekend, causing serious safety issues for state troopers. Jared Rapp with Colorado State Patrol.
Really off the bat, that created difficulty for our hazmat trucks getting over Loveland Pass. The amount of people up there was constricting already a difficult road down to, in some places, one lane.
Backcountry travel is still allowed on Forest Service property outside ski area boundaries, but you can expect changes at Loveland Pass this weekend.
We're going to have troopers and deputies up there ensuring and enforcing that vehicles are only stopping in those designated areas on Loveland Pass.
Uphill travel at Loveland and most ski resorts remains closed through April 11th at least, the final day of the governor's statewide mandatory stay-in-home order. There's a national shortage of COVID-19 testing kits, including Colorado. But what happens when employees still on the job are told to get tested for coronavirus? Centura Health is asking employers statewide to not send people to the ER for virus testing. Centura gives testing priority to patients in need of critical care and hospitalization, and ER doctors are not writing notes to clear employees for work. If you suspect coronavirus for yourself or employees, self-isolate at home and call or email your primary care doctor. A post today on One Man's Junk claims the Summit Community Care Clinic phone is offline. Krystal 93 called and talked with a human right away. Meanwhile, at last night's Breck Town Council meeting, the town committed $1.5 million to relief, including $500,000 to FERC programs. This comes after all 4 local towns already donated a combined $40,000 to FERC. Stay tuned for details on distribution. This week on the State of Summit, meet our local working homeless population, full-time employees who make ends with no roof, shower, or real estate.
Homeless in its full spectrum has multiple categories.
That was Rachel Kelly, a local advocate for working homeless, explaining how people with no permanent home get lumped into one category.
You can break them down, and what I'm trying to focus on right now is just the separation of non-working homeless and homeless people. And even in those two categories, there's multiple spectrums.
Kelly moved to Summit 3 years ago after 2 decades in the Los Angeles fashion industry, and 6 months after arriving, a broken wrist put her on the street.
Your own personal financial cushion, if you don't have that, if your job opportunities or skill set in life doesn't allow you to have that type of income, you're not able to save, you have no cushion. Your life is as fragile as a glass.
Kelly works 40 hours a week in Keystone, but she is still paying medical bills like one of her peers who is struggling to pay for cancer treatment.
And he has gone through 18 cancer treatments. None of his family is left. He's the last survivor of his family, so he doesn't have that family support. That's also a big component to this conversation, is the support system that people have.
Working homeless rely on rec centers or employers for showers and bathrooms, and private property owners for parking. There is nowhere in Summit people can park and camp overnight, and Kelly still sleeps restlessly.
Are you going to get woken up by a cop or maybe somebody that wants to harm you? So your safety is always in question because you're not accepted in the community.
Recently, Kelly approached the Summit Interfaith Council and the Church at Agape Outpost for safe, private parking. The partners launched a test program at Agape with 15 overnight lots, toilets, trash, and plowing at $45 per month.
This program, the LOST program, is specifically designed for the working homeless so they can get that basic support on the most bottom level.
If you are working and living in your car and need a place to stay overnight, contact Kelly at goodbridgessc.co@gmail.com. That's goodbridgessc.co@gmail.com. Tune in again next Wednesday for The State of Summit on Krystal 93. Election Day in Breckenridge and Frisco is April 7th, with 18 candidates running to fill 9 empty seats between both towns. Today, we ask candidates how they are uniquely qualified to lead during and after the COVID-19 shutdown. Jesse Burley, running for Frisco Town Council.
Recovering from a crisis like this will require an entirely holistic systems approach, focusing just on healthcare or just on the economy in their own individual silos is really short-sighted.
Another Frisco candidate, Andrew Aronson, with years of Red Cross relief experience.
The town can't be everything to everybody. So in looking out for the people, the experience I've got is being in disaster recovery.
Frisco candidate Andy Held.
A post-COVID time is a little hard to imagine at this point, but it's fluid and it's always changing, and we're going to have to come up with new ideas and new rules and new ways to communicate and new ways to be community.
Dick Carlton, a Breck Council appointee, running to keep his seat.
If we don't get this right, we could change the whole character of Main Street through this crisis, and we have to get it right.
Breck candidate Kristen Pettit-Stewart, a former communications manager for Breck Ski Resort.
The change and the morphing and the growing of a crisis and what that looks like and how you communicate it. That's something I've spent a lot of time in my career doing. Also, in the midst of all that, not losing sight of the impact to our people.
Breck candidate Kelly Owens, who says her day job as an environmental scientist is invaluable.
My science background allows me the ability to sort of assess the information, make a informed decision, whether that's a bold action like we've had to do in shutting down the town, or whether it's, infusing money into our economy.
Breck candidate Jen McAtamey, current director for Building Hope.
I am a convener of organizations and agencies in the community as the executive director of Building Hope, and that's what I do on a daily basis, and I think that kind of collaboration is going to be so important.
Ballots are due April 7th. Mail them in or drop them off at the county building on Lincoln. Breck Town Hall is not accepting ballots. Frisco Town Hall is. In sports, World Cup ski racers are weathering the global virus shutdown with social media, like Michaela Schifrin, who recently posted an original acoustic song to Instagram, thanking doctors, nurses, and more.
We are with you, even if we are apart.
Italy's Christoph Innerhofer has been racing on pavement with skate skis in a full speed suit, and Austria's Manuel Feller recorded a virus-themed rap in Austrian while wearing a tracksuit and riding a miniature fire engine. In local sports, brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Weiss Agency, a snowboarder was caught, carried, and seriously injured in a backcountry slide near the town of Ophir yesterday, just south of Telluride in the San Juans. He was riding a northwest-facing slope where snow broke to the ground. Photos show he was second or third person on that terrain when it released. Phil Lindemann, Krystal, 93 News.